Valerie has vanished. Don't look for me. I don't exist. Howdy everyone. This is the mysterious story of Valerie Watts' disappearance. Bronson Canyon is one of the most popular hikes in the Los Angeles area, and its cave is one of the most famous attractions in the world, especially since it is known for being the Batcave in the Batman TV series of the 1960s. But it's also the last place Valerie was seen. What happened to Valerie Watts? If you haven't heard about this case, it's because that's part of the story, particularly the ending. That Bunny will bring this inauspicious story to you today.
Late in the morning of March 17th, 2012, Valerie and her stepsister Sarah started the hike to Bronson Cave at around 11 a.m. According to Sarah, the only person they saw on the trail was 57-year-old Nick Berrycastle, a former electrical engineer with whom Valerie and Sarah had a small chat. It was an amazing day for hiking. The sky was blue with some clouds, and the temperature was very nice. So Sarah tried to accelerate the pace to get to the cave as soon as possible and take some photos so she could quickly return to the city and go to work in the library at Eagle Rock. Valerie, however, seemed in no hurry and was more focused on her cell phone than on Sarah's wishes. Who was Valerie chatting with that day? This is an important part of the case. There are several hypotheses, but to date, no one has found the answer, despite the police having searched the telephone records. From 8 a.m., when she first sent a message to Sarah, until 2 p.m., the time of her disappearance, there wasn't any activity on her phone. How was this possible? We're beginning to scratch the surface of this tragic and unusual case. Sarah told the police that she tried to ask Valerie at least twice who she was chatting with, but received no response. Her stepsister also noted that while hiking, Valerie changed her mood, and what started as a leisurely stroll turned into a distressing ordeal in which Valerie seemed completely absent from reality, absorbed only on her cell phone and increasingly impatient to receive messages. Sarah and Valerie arrived at the cave around 1:45 p.m., after 2 stops because Valerie demanded to call a number that turned out to be non-existent. Sarah quickly walked through the cave while Valerie remained on the other side, once again immersed in her conversation. Sarah called out to Valerie several times and tried to distract her from what seemed to be an obsession rather than an exchange of messages, but twice she received only a sharp no. Sarah took 3 photos, 2 landscapes and a selfie, and then realized she was going to be late for work, so she called Valerie a 3rd time hoping they could take a picture together. This time Valerie didn't answer. Sarah ran back through the cave and there was no sign of Valerie. She tried to call her cell, but it was off. Sarah searched everywhere, but Valerie seemed to have dissolved into thin air. After 20 minutes, Sarah called the police. The officers arrived on scene and found a post-it note by the cave with a strange message. "Don't look for me. I don't exist." The handwriting was not Valerie's, and there were no fingerprints on the post-it. For 3 months, the search for Valerie Watts went on incessantly, and something anomalous came to light. The police questioned Nelson Neville, the owner of the restaurant where Valerie supposedly worked, but Nelson declared that he didn't know Valerie, and only he and his family worked at the restaurant. When the police searched Valerie's apartment, they found only a PC. The apartment was empty. There were no clothes in the closet, no soap in the bathroom, and above all, there was no bed or furniture. Where had Valerie slept in the last few months? Apartment owner Anthony Lawrence claimed to receive rent for 9 months from Valerie Watts. The previous tenants told Anthony she was their friend and was going to live there for a while. He asked his bank to investigate the payments, but for privacy reasons the bank couldn't release information. Police found the account was in Switzerland and the holder was Valerie Watts, but no other information was found. At this point, one wonders who is Valerie Watts. On the PC found in the apartment, there was a folder on the desktop named Clowns. In this folder, there were several clown videos. In particular, there was a clown doing disturbing activities like destroying a car or holding a huge hammer in a surreal room. Had Valerie filmed this clown? Who was the clown? What was the relationship between Valerie and this clown? Was this the person that Valerie was chatting with on the day of her disappearance? To answer this question, investigators tried to piece together Valerie's past. Valerie Watts was born in a small town not far from Manhattan, Kansas. She lived with her mom, Mary, her stepdad, Peter, and stepsister, Sarah. Valerie's childhood was carefree, but when she was 16, she became obsessed with Dan Price, the son of a neighbor who had tragically died 3 years earlier. Valerie told her mother that Dan had snuck into her bedroom one night and insisted she followed him to the cemetery. She was convinced that Dan was not dead, but that he was a victim of his mother, who had locked him in the basement of the house to prevent his friendship with Valerie. One day, Peter, her stepdad, fed up with the stories, took Valerie to a psychologist, Dr. Pauline White. The doctor said that Peter was the one in need of therapy. Why? It's another mystery to which there is no answer, because months later, Dr. White disappeared. 3 weeks after her 21st birthday, Valerie decided to move to Los Angeles to be a sci-fi movie extra. When she arrived, she spent all the money her mother had given her to rent an apartment on a used car. When police found the car, a 2001 Kia Rio, it was registered to Jeremy DeMoss, but the plate was registered to another car under the name of Melissa Smart. 3 years later, after breaking up with Emily, her fortune teller girlfriend, and disappointed with her job as a dog food taster, Sarah also decided to move to Los Angeles. Valerie was too busy to meet with Sarah at first. At the time, she was a professional stand-in liner. Due to disputes about roommates' pets, Sarah changed apartments 3 times. The police tried to track down Valerie's family, but her mother was reported to have disappeared on the same day as her daughter. In her house, they found murals with the prediction of the 2020 presidential election's winner and text on the floor written in blood, "Don't look for me, I don't exist." Her alleged stepdad was never found to have lived in the house with Valerie and her mother. The only Peter Gregory James in the area was a 43-year-old transsexual who claimed he'd arrived in town 2 days earlier from the future. A week after Valerie's disappearance, the police found a dog holding a bone in his mouth with the words, "Don't look for me, I don't exist," in Bronson Canyon. The dog's owner, Pam Griffith, stated that the bone was a gift to her dog who had just turned 2. Pam Griffith was listed on the suspect list for the disappearance of her dog 2 months later. Unfortunately, Sarah Agnes James disappeared 2 months after Valerie, also at 2 p.m. at Bronson Cave. She had taken 3 photographs with her cell. It was found abandoned next to a post-it note that said, "Don't look for me, I don't exist."
What do you think? Leave a comment now, your opinion matters. By the way, if you've never heard of this story, it's because this story doesn't exist. And the people shown in this story are simply AI-generated photos from the website thispersondoesnotexist.com, created by Phil Wang. Check it out for yourself. And thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share for more strange news stories told by an alien and her imaginary friend, a pair that otherwise can't be found anywhere. Also, if you would like to support us on Patreon, you can find a link in the description as well as our store. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't, press thumbs down twice, just to be sure. Take it easy. Peace. Oh, by the way, I'm an alien. But not that kind of alien. But
The sun was blue. Ran out of breath. Another sneeze is coming.
What the hell?